Apologize, but for some reason it wouldn't let me in.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we're officially recording and you can call your meeting to order.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning and welcome to the City of Bessemer City Council meeting, 1700 3rd Avenue North here in the great city of Bessemer, June the 1st, 2021. The meeting has been called to order. We'll have a word of silent prayer. I pray that you all had a great holiday and all was well with you. As we pray, continue to pray for our city, state, county, and our nation. A word of silent prayer, please. Amen. Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councillor Alexander,
Present.
Councillor Collier, Councillor Collier, Councillor Crusoe,
Present.
Councillor Marshall,
Present.
Councillor Thickpan,
Present.
Councillor Matthews,
Present.
Councillor Donald.
Present.
6 present, 1 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Item number 4, please.
Approval of minutes from May 18, 2021.
Council, you've seen your minutes. Are there any corrections and or concerns?
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I move to adopt the minutes.
I need a second, please.
Second.
Has been properly moved and second that we adopt the minutes for May 18th, 2021. Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councillor Alexander,
Aye.
Councillor Crusoe,
Aye.
Councillor Marshall, Councillor Marshall,
Aye.
Councillor Thickpan,
Aye.
Councillor Matthews,
Aye.
Councillor Donald.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 5, please.
Committee reports.
Councilors, were there any committee reports to report today? If not, item number 6, please.
Presentations, awards, announcements, and recognitions.
Thank you. Mayor Gully, are you on the line?
I am, Madam President. Good morning to you, the entire council, and all who are listening. I just have a couple of items that I'd like to bring to your attention at this particular time. As we had discussed in the past, we've been put on notice by both of our ambulance companies, Shoals and RPS, that they may discontinue ambulance services at any time. I requested that this item be put on the agenda, Madam President, and once again, my item did not make it so the agenda. I'll ask so that it be added to the agenda and discussed due to the emergency situation that we have going on. And so right now, what I was asking to do is purchase 2 ambulances, added to our existing lease. I'm going to ask for consideration for that to be put back on the agenda, as I request. Obviously, we're talking about if both those ambulance services pull out, we're talking about the lives and safety of our residents if we have no way to transport. It's imperative that we discuss this and move this item and so forward. Also, I'd like to offer my condolences to the Strait family. One of our most senior young ladies, Miss Catherine Strait, passed away this past weekend. Miss Strait was 105 years old. And all of us had gotten to a particular point where all of us loved her and looked at her as mother and grandmother. And I just want to give my condolences to the Strait family as they go through this most challenging time. Thank you, Madam President.
Councillor Donald,
I'm sorry. I do apologize. Let me answer that for you, Mayor Gully. The reason that that item was taken off of the agenda was because the council had no knowledge of the purchase and or anything other than the ambulance service. One ambulance service had requested, stated that they would not be servicing Bessemer, and that's been, they said 60 days. They would give us 60 days. To my knowledge, the other ambulance service, just one moment. To my knowledge, the other ambulance service requested or was going to request help from the city to stay in the city. Now, I must say this is my first time when I read it that we were even speaking of purchasing ambulances. I guess I was waiting on someone to get back with us about either of the ambulance companies staying in the city of Bessemer, or whether they would request funding from Bessemer, RPS and or shows. Shows had already pulled out. So I guess we were waiting on to see whether or not RPS was going to stay in the city or request funds from the city to stay in the city to help them because they're not making very much money nowadays. Now that it has come out, and yes, sir, I will add it to the agenda because we don't even know how much the ambulances will be, where we'll be getting them from. We don't know any of that. We know nothing but what you just said. You wanted to purchase ambulances for the city, not giving the city council an opportunity to answer questions. That was why, Mayor Gully, it was removed from the regular agenda and placed on planning session. So it has not been an emergency situation until now. It's time to pay for the ambulances. Now it's an emergency situation where the council has to be again pushed into a corner and
Madam
forced to make
President,
a decision. One moment, Mayor Gurley, I'll let you talk. And didn't interrupt, didn't open my mouth. We have been pushed into a corner now to where the only thing we can do is vote to or not to. And we are made to look like we don't want it. But that's not true. And I'm not saying we don't need the ambulances. I'm not saying we don't need the equipment. What I am saying this morning is this, Mayor Gully. The council should have been brought in when the discussion first started and or thereafter. If the council not be brought in, the president and or maybe a committee should have been brought in. That would have been the way I would have done it. And I don't mind my councilors correcting me when I step out of place. But for Councillor Donald, I think the whole situation was done wrong because just like you came to us and went into executive session and told us what you had to tell us, you could have come back to us. And we've had meetings after that. You could have come back to us and let us know what was going on, especially you're speaking of lives being lost. I worked on the ambulance 16 years. So I know how crucial it is for lives to be lost and how crucial it is, how it is 10 seconds can make or break a situation. I do know that. Yes, sir, Michael, I'll listen to you.
Madam President.
Yes, sir.
This ambulance situation is a very fluid situation. I can only bring information when I find out the information is possible. Now, obviously, I'm bringing of the items because of the emergency nature of the items. You're more than welcome to discuss them, but my particular job, and so as the mayor of this city, when there is an issue or if there's an emergency situation, I can't control the ambulance situation. And so, but what I can control is to make sure that I can service in so the fire department in this city. So when I get the information, I can move forward and so with it for discussion. I'm getting the information at this particular time at the same time and so that you're getting it. If it wasn't and stuff as important, I could have waited and stuff to planning session in order to do this. But because of the important nature of the ambulance situation, because of the availability and stuff of the ambulances to be purchased, and so we have and so to move expeditiously to make sure and so that we can do what's necessary for these citizens. Now, I don't have there's no game that I'm playing and so with and so you all and so here. The bottom line is when I find out from the chief and from the ambulance services certain information, I have to do what is necessary to move forward and so for the health and safety of this city. So it's not about and so whether I could have called you back and so to do and call the council to do whatever. That's what I'm doing now. That's why I asked that the item that customarily would have been a planning session item be put on the agenda for discussion immediately.
Madam Chair.
One moment, please. I truly understand what you're saying, Mayor Gully. So you're telling me there has not been any discussion other than the discussion that you've had with us in executive session.
What I'm telling you and so is that I've had discussions and so with the fire chief and EMS and so director. This is what the decisions that were presented to me that's being presented to you at this particular point, Madam President. That and so that the fire chief and EMS director presented and stuff to me that is the best solution to this particular situation that we in with ambulance is to ensure that we purchase 2 ambulances to have backup transport just in case our 2 ambulance services that has customarily serviced the city of Bessemer backs out. That's where we are.
I truly understand, Mayor Gully. I understand me if no one else. I truly understand what you're saying. And let me make this very clear, crystal clear. I'm not against EMS and or the ambulances because we need the equipment and or any other equipment that the EMS first responders need. I'm not against that. When you find out, thank you, Mayor Gully, for letting us know. But to my knowledge, this has just not been the first time. Councillor Crusoe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Mayor Gully, I think you're kind of missing the issue that President is trying to convey, and the feelings are mutual, as with Councillor Crusoe. As far as with ambulatory services here in the city of Bessemer, just as President Donald just mentioned, the only time the council has been presented with any of this information was in an executive session, maybe like over a month ago. The only thing that President Donald, along with the council, is asking is that while these other discussions are being made, that we, as council, who are responsible for the finances here in the city, be respectfully included in the decision-making process here in the city of Bessemer. We're not against anything as far as in the upkeep, the protection, the provision for the citizens here in the city of Bessemer. Matter of fact, we've been advocating ever since we raised our right hand and was sworn in. We just ask for the inclusiveness as far as in with the different information as it's being brought to you, and we're not taking away from your role as the mayor of the city. We're just asking that you kind of respect us a little more as the council. And being over the
Madam President.
finances, let me finish if you don't mind. Mayor
I'm sorry, I thought you were finished.
I'm not. Because here we are left with placing something on the agenda without all of the information being presented to us. Hopefully this will come up in the discussion. And I think it would have been easier and we wouldn't even be having this discussion. That's what the president is in place for. Even if you are not in a position to, we're not asking that you call each of us individually explaining or you're trying to get our approval on anything. You have the right, legally, you have the right to place anything you choose on the agenda. We're just asking that, as far as with the president of the council, just like you're explaining what information that has been presented to you so easily, one phone call to the president to explain to us the seriousness or the nature that this matter has escalated to since we were in executive session. And I'm without a shadow of a doubt, it would have easily been placed on this agenda for us to deal with. We're just now finding out, as you're asking for it to be placed back on the agenda, the nature of it. And I don't want it to be misconveyed or misconstrued to the citizens here in the city of Bessemer that the council we're not in place as far as in supporting ambulatory services, because we know we need them. Here in just the other day, yesterday, Memorial Day, but more so Sunday night, cookouts turned to shootouts in the city of Bessemer. So more so than anything, we know how important it is to have ambulatory services here. We're just asking that you be a little more inclusive as far as in conveying that information to us and just as timely as you get it, if not shortly thereafter. That's all that we're asking of you, Mayor Gully. And thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Councillor, one moment. Mayor Gully, did you want to say something?
Madam President.
Yes, sir.
As I forestated, that's what I'm doing right now. This is a very fluid situation, as I stated. I can't act on something that I'm not aware of until there's the fire chief has had, I guess, meetings with the ambulance services, has had ambulance with other companies and some ambulance and gathering information, so to speak. When that information comes to me, that's why I asked that this be placed on the agenda, to be discussed and possibly act on. Now that's up to you all, but let us not act like this is the only item that has come up this way. But it is the seriousness of this situation that's requiring us to move a little bit faster than we have been than we have had to in the past. As I forestated, and then I'll be finishing with this, is this situation was placed on the agenda when it came to me from the fire chief, and for discussion and possibly action. Now, I can't bring you what I don't have. The seriousness and the nature of this when it came to me, I asked that it be put on the agenda, and from the mayor to be put on the agenda to the council. So I don't know how to explain that to you all any other way. And so with all due respect to Councilor Crusoe, it's not like I'm sitting on information. I have no problem making a call saying this is the situation. But the point that I'm making is up to you, that when the information was made available to me, I asked that it be put on the agenda.
Mayor Gully, we will place that on the agenda. Councilor Crusoe, Councilor Alexander, if you can hold that question until we place this information on the agenda, and you can ask it during that time if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay, thank you so much. Are you finished, Mayor Gully, with your awards, presentations, announcements, and recommendations? Recognitions?
Yes, thank you, Madam
Okay.
President.
Thank you so much, Mayor Gully.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
what item will this be?
This will be 15A.
Okay, thank you.
15 will be that,
Thank you.
That's what the item will be, 15A. Ms. Helen Hayes, are you on the line?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I would like
Yes,
to,
sir.
I would like to speak with, to item 6, please.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On this past Saturday morning, there was a situation that occurred in the city of Bessemer at one of our businesses. But prior to that, I had a little medical treatment to get taken care of with, I had some neck pain that radiated from my neck down from behind my ear down to my neck, down to my clavicle and back up to the top of my head. It ended up being a muscle issue. Well, I went to Middle Creek and got taken care of, medication, shot, things of that nature. And after that, I said, well, I got a couple of keys I need to be made before I take this medicine because it's going to make me drowsy. So I proceeded to Gifts and Gadgets. And when I pulled up there, I really didn't feel so well. But I pulled in the lot, and after pulling in the lot, there wasn't any parking spaces at that particular time. So I went around and came back again, and so I just eased up and pulled. It was a few cones sitting there, and I pulled up there beside those cones, but I didn't block the way or anything. There was a lot of traffic out there because the event center is next to it, and you can't even hardly see the lines there in the parking lot. I must have had. But and pulling up to those cones, this guy came out, white guy, bald, and brushed my truck. And after doing that, he said, "You can't park here." I said, well, I don't see no more parks. And he said, well, you still can't park here. I said, well, okay. I'm just, man, I don't feel well. I'm just trying to get a couple of keys made. Now, nice business would have said, well, you don't feel well, just give me the keys and find a park. And when you get your park, come get how many keys you need, like that. Where you would think and a, nice person would do that. But instead, he continued to yell. And he said, well, there's 2 parks over there. Well, they just came available. So I'm getting a little warm now. But anyway, I kind of calmed down. I said, well, okay, I'll pull over there. Well, I pulled in the parking space. And after pulling in the parking space, I got out of the truck and went on inside, and the line was long. And by the time I got inside the door, he yelled at another person, customer, African American, okay? Of course, I'm African American too. All right. I'm going somewhere with this. So then he comes back in the store and passes by me. And I calmly said, I said, man, you need to watch how you rush people's vehicles like that. You don't know how people feeling, And he yelled right there in that store and told me, point blank, if you had used some common sense, you would have parked in a parking space in the beginning. I mean, yell, just loud. And at that time, I maybe 2 whites and 9 or 10 African American folk was in there, right? So I looked around and I thought about something. I said, now this thing could escalate to another level if I stay in here. I'm thinking about Dominique Wilkins couldn't be seated in Atlanta, and I'm thinking about George Floyd just this anniversary. And I'm thinking about Tulsa 1921 as well. See, because one thing about it, if we stop going to gifts and gadgets as African Americans, then we'll have a issue there where they will see the cash register hurt. I support all businesses investment if I can. I know some people have made in China. I like to buy Bessemer. You know, I go to every store in Bessemer if I needed to, because I live in Bessemer. We stick a pin in that too. Now, let me tell you something. Everybody should be given a level of respect. Black, white, blue, green, doesn't matter. When you come over that interstate, you see welcome to Bessemer. And to be treated like I was treated Saturday is unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable. I don't care who don't like it. I'm nobody's minion. I don't nobody's follower or anything. I stand on my own 2 feet, take care of my family, and try to do what's right. You don't treat everybody alike, but you treat them right. And how he yelled at me and that other person that pulled up behind me, it's a shame to have a business in Bessemer to treat individuals in that manner. Over a darn parking space when somebody doesn't feel good. Look at the handicap. As a matter of fact, I went by there with nobody's open. I think that was one of the most racist thing I've seen. He could have been having a bad day with black folks. I don't know what his problem is.
Well, Councillor Matthews.
Wait a minute. I'm not finished, Madam Chair. After all that happened, I called the owner of the complex. My blood pressure just about went through my head that day. And I'm not saying this for no, and I ain't trying to be smart either. I'm not saying this for nobody to comment. I'm just letting you know what happened. Because like I said, I called Joe McFarland and told him about it because he's, has some ownership down there. And all lives matter to me. But at the same time, gifts and gadgets that employee need to have some type of counseling or something to know how to treat people when they come in there in that store. Right there on 13th, and I know it was packed. People parked all over there on the interstate, like on the side where the interstate is. But there's a lot of business that was going on there. And I don't know how many handicap parking they had there. I hope they with the amount of people that influx that shopping area there, we may need to see if the handicap I could have been handicapped or something, and wasn't no handicap parking place. And I tell you that because wasn't a park available. But that was totally unacceptable, and I will be contacting the management and or media or whoever else needs to be involved in this, because this is not going to happen here in Bessemer, Alabama, and nothing be said about it. See, that's what's wrong now. Nothing be said about the wrongdoings in the city of Bessemer, because if you be silent, that means you give credence to it. And I ain't by no way no hypocrite, okay? So, Madam Chair, I'm done now. But like I said, it doesn't even need nobody to even, because I was there. And the other people that was there, they just turned their head and looked the other way, But it's time now to stop looking the other way. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Matthews. Not only do I condone any mistreatment of anyone, black, white, green, or orange, but what we may need to do, Councillor Matthews, we may need to pull this ordinance for next week and look at this ordinance, because see, if we got event centers here that doesn't have any parking, it doesn't need to be an event center. And that's what I see now. We have so many event centers without parking, without adequate parking. So we'll pull that ordinance and we'll review that ordinance. Thank you so much, Councilor Matthews. Ms. Helen Hayes, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm
Ms.
here.
Hayes.
Yeah,
Good morning, Miss Hayes. How are you?
good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking me to be
Good.
here.
Good, good. Mayor and Council, this is Miss Helen Hayes. She's in the IT department at Jefferson County. She was the one who set up all the cameras and equipment for Jefferson County Commission to get their meetings out to the public. Well, I've been, we've been discussing Facebook Live and we've been discussing YouTube. So I went to Commissioner Sheila Tyson and asked her who did their website and who did their cameras, and she told me who did it, and I contacted Miss Helen Hayes. Miss Hayes has, I'll let Miss Hayes introduce herself and tell the mayor and Mr. Singleton what you told me. Go ahead, Miss Hayes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my name's Helen. I'm the Director of Public Information. I've met some of you, Mayor. I've had the pleasure of meeting you. Live streaming became very important for the commission with the pandemic and the onset of the pandemic last year. And we really were not initially set up to have remote meetings, but we had to get there very quickly. So initially what we did, what was a very low cost option, was we purchased the Zoom license and held the meetings like you guys are doing today. But what we did was you have the option in Zoom to push your meeting live to Facebook. And so people on Facebook would see the meeting in real time. And, there are benefits of that. People can see and comment and that type of thing. I would add, if you do that, that it would be great to have somebody that could moderate and answer those questions in real time. And my colleague, Justin Smith, who's assistant to the county manager, helped with that. And that's the way that we did that. And if you were not all in the same room, what you could do is, if each of your counselors had their video showing on this meeting today, then all the people would see is everybody's face and what we call the Hollywood Squares boxes. And it would look like that when you show it live on Facebook. What I would do is make sure that all the commissioners, they had their video showing. And if we had guests or anybody else that was listening in, department heads and that sort of thing, is we asked them to join just with their audio at first, unless they were asked a question. And if they were asked a question, they could then show their video and respond. And that way you didn't have, we have a lot of staff. We wouldn't have like 40 people showing their face, on a live stream at one time. So that's how we did it at first. And then we were able to purchase some additional equipment to help with the way that those meetings looked, and the commissioners started to come and meet in person, but social distance in their meetings around the table, the pre-commission meeting and in the commission meeting chambers. They would social distance, and we had a 360 camera. I'm showing it running right here. It's called the Owl, and it cost about $1,000. But that camera is portable and it plugs into any laptop, and you can sit that in the middle of a table, and it shoots 360. It's voice and motion activated, so it will immediately focus on whoever's speaking, so you don't have to have somebody manually operating that camera. And that works pretty well with Zoom. And then you can show that video live on Facebook instead of the Hollywood Squares type picture. From there, we progressed to a very, what I would say is a pretty sophisticated vendor. They're called Swaggit IT. We did enter a contract with them, and they came and installed cameras in the pre-commission chambers and then in the commission meeting room. And that took a little time, but that is now what we are using for our meetings. And if you see our meetings today, that's what we are using as Swaggit, and it has some benefits as well. I control and switch the meetings on Tuesday because it's just a 2-camera operation. But then they control the meetings on Thursdays, and they do it from Texas. They don't have anybody in the room. They know when our meetings are. They're ready to go live. All I have to do is log into 2 different places, and they totally control that meeting. They also archive the meetings, and a video archive of our meetings is placed on our website, and they integrate with Granicus, who does our meeting minutes and is our agenda tracking software. And so they sync the videos with the agenda so that if the public ever wants to go back and look at a meeting and look at an item on the agenda, they can click on the agenda and it goes directly to that point in the meeting. Now that is a much more expensive way to live stream, but it is it's a very sophisticated product that has a lot more benefits to it. But any options are great options for making your meetings live and public, which is what the commission wanted to start doing, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. So we've grown and we evolved over time with how we were working and how we were doing it. It's definitely been a learning process, and I'm happy to answer any questions that other council members may have, or to either, if your IT people wanted to meet one-on-one, I'm happy to do that as well.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. Councillor Crusoe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you also, Ms. Helen Hayes, for coming with your presentation. I mean, and I'm more than sure this is just a skeletal a presentation of the information that you just conveyed. But I mean, I'm just about 99.9% already sold. On that third method that you just mentioned, what was the name of that method again that the commissioners are currently using?
Yeah, it's a vendor and they're called Swagit. It's SWAGIT. And they're based out of Houston, Texas.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that seems a bit more modernized, especially when I mean, hearing what you're saying. I guess I'll say it so you can correct me if I'm wrong. When you said that, as far as in with the meetings, if a citizen just press on the agenda item, it'll take them directly to that area in the video. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, it is, and they sync up with the agenda software that we use is through Granicus. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but so that's the program that we use to put our agenda together. And so that's online, and they sync the video with that agenda.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much again for your presentation. And I would love for I guess from Madam President or whomever IT that needs to reach out to these individuals as far as in coming to, I guess also do a presentation for us, maybe in planning session, so we could move forward on you're getting something implemented to continue to be able to continue to keep the citizens of Bessemer informed about what's going on here in the city. Thanks again, Ms. Hayes. Wonderful presentation. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir, Councilor Marshall.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how many times I've talked about what are planning session items and what are not. And you were criticizing the mayor about the ambulance service. And then you come and you drop in somebody to discuss something that we need to be discussing in planning session. We waste a lot of time talking about issues that are not pertinent to today's agenda. How will we ever get the business of the city done? I mean, it's just, baffling to me that you still don't understand a planning session and a regular meeting. A regular meeting, we ought to be legislating items that are good for the city. But rather, you bring in people to talk about something like this. Well, why couldn't you have gotten with the mayor and Mr. Singleton and met with Ms. Hayes prior to, or agreed to come in planning session and talk about it so that we would have more time? It's just baffling to me. And we are not serving the citizens of Bessemer properly with the way we conduct business. And the way we conduct business reflects on the leadership of this council. And if anybody doesn't see it, then they got a problem.
I don't think it's anybody that has the problem. I think it's you that have the problem. But let me say this. I think number 6 said presentations, awards, announcements, and recognition. I think that's what that said. But Ms. Helen Hayes, the Mayor Gully has if I'm wrong, Mayor Gully, please correct me. Mayor Gully has already stated he has no problem with you getting with Mr. Singleton and the mayor, and let us see what we can come up with, because time is of the essence. This month is June, and next month is July. So time is of the essence, Ms. Hayes. Do you have Mayor Gully's number, Ms. Hayes? Or do I need to send it to you?
No, I have the mayor's contact information, yes.
Okay, if you will contact the mayor, and the three of you will get together, and you all just bring back to us what Mr. Singleton and the mayor thinks is best for us, for the city of Bessemer. And the council will know, the council will be involved, and the council will vote. Does that sound like something this council may want?
Yes.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, Ms. Hayes, if you would get in touch with Mayor Gully and Mr. Singleton, and I'm quite sure Mayor Gully will call me, and we'll get together and find a solution to the problem that we have. If we need to buy equipment, so be it. We need to buy equipment. We need to advance so that our citizens will be able to see and to hear what is going on in the city of Bessemer. Thank you so much, Ms. Hayes.
Madam President.
Yes, sir. Ms. Gully.
Just wanting and stuff to thank Ms. Hayes and stuff for her input, and also I look forward to getting in stuff with her and Mr. Singleton and seeing what we can do and stuff to I guess better streamline and stuff these meetings without interruption. So I look forward to that, Ms. Hayes, getting with you and Mr. Singleton to find the best way and stuff to handle that situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Gully, and I hope that you all will call me so that I could be there as well. Thank you, Ms. Hayes, and you have a great day now.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Item number 11, Ms. Taylor, let's let Ms. Hall get back to her daily chores. Item number 11, please.
Yes, ma'am. June 1st, 2021, weed nuisance report, set date.
Good morning, Ms. Hall.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
On this particular item, I would like to request the hearing be scheduled for the third Tuesday in July, which is July the 20th at 10 a.m. July the 20th at 10 a.m.
Councillors, I need a motion. Second and a roll call, please. Councillors. June the 2nd,
Madam Chair,
July the 20th at 10 a.m. Yes, sir.
I move to hold that hearing July the 20th. At what time was that again?
It says 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
If we
Yes,
could-
10
Yes,
a.m.
sir.
please.
Second.
Second. It has been properly moved that we will hold a weed nuisance set hearing at July the 20th at 10 a.m., which is the third Tuesday in July. Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councillor Alexander,
Aye.
Councillor Crusoe,
Aye.
Councillor Marshall,
Aye.
Councillor Thigpen,
Aye.
Councillor Matthews,
Aye.
Councillor Donald.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Hall, for all you do for the city of Bessemer. Item number 7, please.
Councillor Donald, she also has item number 10.
I'm sorry, item number 10, please.
Request abatement of properties, weed nuisances.
Ms. Hall.
Yes, ma'am. On this particular item, the two properties that are listed on the memorandum, I would like to request that they be abated. 501 4th Avenue North and 1508 Dartmouth Avenue are the two properties listed.
Madam President,
Yes,
I move
ma'am.
to abate the properties.
Second.
Need a second.
Second.
It has been properly moved that we'll abate these two properties. Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councillor Alexander,
Aye.
Councillor Crusoe,
Aye.
Councillor Marshall,
Aye.
Councillor Thigpen,
Aye.
Councillor Matthews,
Aye.
Councillor Donald.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 7, please. Thank you, Ms. Hall.
Thank you.
Item 7 is amending resolution number 1143-16 regarding nonprofit.
Councilors, I placed this on here as we were looking, as I was looking at the nonprofits. You know, it extends from the first business day in June until July. And I was looking that it does not go to the city clerk to be time stamped and dated. We need to amend this resolution whereby it would go to the city clerk. All applications for nonprofit funding shall be submitted to the city clerk to be time and date stamped, and then be sent to the council's secretary to be placed in a file, and then to be compiled, and then sent to the mayor and the council, and then for the mayor and the council to discuss. I placed this on for us to look at, and I'll place it on planning session for next week. But I just wanted you all to look at this so that we can amend this this resolution so that it can go to the city clerk first. The applications will go to the city clerk to be time and date stamped in, and then to the council secretary. Are there any questions, councilors? We'll put it on planning session for discussion on next week. Item number 8, please.
Bessemer Recreation Center.
I think this was Councilor Alexander.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. I placed that on. I got contacted by 2 citizens that were inquiring about a summer program that was being held at the rec center. And they sent me the flyer, and I didn't know anything about it. Like I told them, I only knew about the agreement that we went into with Ms. Bowles about that summer program. Is Mr. Woodard on the line, or can the mayor speak to this? Because I see it's a fee. Did we agree to go into contract with this vendor? And who will be liable if something happened to one of the kids?
Mayor Gully and or Mr. Woodard.
Madam President, I'm gonna let Mr. Woodard speak and so to the summer program. For the summer program that has been in existence since we opened the rec center. But I'll let Mr. Woodard speak and so to the program. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, Mayor and Council. Can you hear me okay?
No, sir, you got a lot of static back there. Good morning. How are you?
Okay. Okay, is that better? I'm trying to move it around.
Okay, it's better now.
Okay. The summer program that we do annually, of course, we did not do it last year because of COVID. We offer the community an opportunity to participate in a paid program in lieu of the additional program that we have with Camp Bessemer. And each year, individuals will register. Of course, this year we have cut back 50% of our membership, not membership, of enrollment. They are have events like swimming, enrichment programs. They do field trips. We're limited some of our field trips this year. And that is something we've done every year. As far as the liability, it is a program that the city has approved and sanctioned from day one that we do every summer.
Madam Chair.
It's been the same vendor every year?
One moment, Councillor. Councillor Matthews, just one moment. Go ahead, Councillor Alexander.
Has it been the same vendor every year? And do the council enter into agreement with this vendor, or do the rec center enter into agreement with this vendor?
The council in the past, no. We do it at the rec center level. Last year, we worked with what was the name of it? Girls Inc. They have come in and participate. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear.
I heard something in the back. The Girls Inc. last year, we worked with Girls Inc. They came in and provided a service to a number of our girls. Year before, I'm not sure. Because we partner with different folks each year to assist our program to augment some of the things that we do.
May I now?
Councillor Matthews, go ahead.
Yeah. Is both attorneys on the line? No attorney on the line.
This is Shane. I'm on the line.
Thank you.
Attorney Harris, are you on the line? Go ahead, Councillor Matthews.
Legal question. What's the difference between Camp Bessemer and what Mr. Woodard's talking about, that been doing it since its inception and all of this? What's the difference in us doing an agreement with one entity versus another? I mean, what makes one illegal or illegal? Well, I guess my question is, why don't we enter into agreement with the one that he said, Mr. Woodard, let me call names. Mr. Woodard said he do it on the rec level. I didn't know it was in the levels of agreements. If there's an agreement that's entered that the council votes on with Camp Bessemer or any other entity, I'm trying to see what's the difference between them. Can you answer that, sir?
Well, I certainly would like to look at all the facts before I make an opinion. I don't know if they're in agreement. Are they hiring personnel down there to run a program, or is this a contract? I'd like to know more facts before I render an opinion. Okay.
And I would like for this council to have those facts too, because if I can't see another, and I can only go by what I read and see. This is well, I guess you just get the fact information and I guess then render your legal opinion, because how I see it, it's just like any other agreement that we may enter into that the council will vote on and give the mayor permission to enter into that agreement. Not just, I mean, I just can't go down there and say I want to do a swimming class without doing anything. I mean, let us know, please, as soon as possible.
Madam Chair, I just have one more question.
Well,
hold on, Councilor Alexander. Mayor Gully, is that you are here?
Madam President, I'll get with Mr. Woodard, but you know, as you all are well aware, when you all pass the budget and stuff each year, you know, there are monies allocated and stuff for specific things, and the summer program is one of those things. I would think that if there's any agreement that's been entered into, it's just an agreement of hiring personnel, and what Mr. Woodard is agreeing to pay those personnel based and stuff on obviously the qualifications, and based and stuff on the monies that you all have allocated and stuff for the summer program. So, you know, I'll get with Attorney Payton, and I'll get with Mr. Woodard, and so to see exactly and so what it is, so that that you all and stuff are requiring, because Mr. Woodard, in my opinion, is just running the summer youth program that that he proposed to me and the council voted and so on.
But Madam Chair, we vote on, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Can I follow? Now,
go ahead, follow up.
We vote on Camp Bessemer and approve those money, and still come back and do an agreement. I'll be waiting on the attorney's information.
Madam Chair.
Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Councilor Alexander. One moment, Mayor. Councilor Alexander.
So it looks like this program is, you have to pay $500 and some for this program, but if we allocated the money for this program, why wouldn't it be free? And if we are receiving money, where's this money going? What fund is this money going to? Is it going to the rec fund or the general fund? And the vendor, how would the vendor be paid? Have we entered into an agreement to pay this vendor to host this program at the rec center?
All those questions, I think Attorney Payton will answer those questions for me, because I did have a question of the budget, and I think you just said it for me, Councilor Alexander, that there is a line in the budget for that, but it's 525, because not only did I get several calls, and I got blasted by some of the citizens. Why is there a program for 525 at the rec center, Councilor Donna? We can't pay anything for our children to go, and got SOARS program in the schools, and I end up calling Miss Ramika Thompson and asking her what programs they had in the school system at no cost that the children could attend. So I myself, along with the other councilors, are there any other councilors? We'll wait and see what Attorney Payton comes back with on next weekend planning session. Is that okay with you all, councilors?
Yes.
Yes, Madam.
Item number 9. Item number 9, please.
Item 9, update Create Birmingham participants.
Madam Chair.
This was also Councilor Alexander. Go ahead, Councilor.
Yes, Madam Chair. I know in the resolution we stated that they come back and give us an update. Wanted to know what weeks or where the participants at in the program. Have we got all participants? And how did we go about acquiring these participants for this program? And when will we get the I guess the paperwork on all the participants that will be participating in this program. I guess, can we do it in executive session or something like that? Doing planning session next week? Because all that was stated in the resolution.
Mayor Gully and or Attorney Payton.
Madam President, obviously, those are going to be an update from Create Birmingham. It would be necessary to bring Create Birmingham back and so to give that update. And so
Okay.
You know, whatever is said in the resolution, we'll follow through and so with that. But I think those questions are better posed and so to Create Birmingham once we get into an agreement with them.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Gully. We will I'll ask that you and or Mr. Norris contact Create Birmingham for the planning session on next week. Thank you so much. Item number 12, please, Ms. Taylor.
Item 12 is a resolution on Attorney General's opinion on Amending agent of record.
Councillors, we have been talking about this since forever. And we have the resolution here in hand, and you've had time to read and go through it. I need a motion and a second, please.
Right,
Madam Chair.
And then we'll have a discussion. Yes, Councillor Matthews.
I moved the item to get the resolution to get an AG's opinion.
Second.
Has been properly moved and second that we will move on with the AG's opinion. The resolution requesting an opinion of the Attorney General of the state of Alabama as to whether the City Council of the City of Bessemer, Alabama, may issue a request for proposal for an agent of record between the city and the Alabama Municipal Insurance Corporation, which is commonly known as AMIC, and to appoint a qualifying respondent therefrom as such agent for the City of Bessemer.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Attorney Harris said he didn't want to disrupt you. He said he can listen and hear very well. However, I've tried to speak on several occasions, but not acknowledged. He said he's trying to speak.
I don't hear him. And has anyone let him in?
Oh, I don't know. You'd have to ask the person who let folks in.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Mayor, will you please ask Mr. Singleton, will he please let Attorney Harris into the meeting, please? He may still be in the waiting room.
Madam President, this is Rick Singleton.
Yes, sir. Mr. Singleton, I have asked the mayor to ask you to let Attorney Harris in on the conversation.
Yes, ma'am. We are not running the waiting room for this meeting. There are no restrictions. If he can hear the meeting, he's in the meeting.
Attorney Harris, it may be with me. I know I called in at 10 minutes until 10, but the meeting ID that was given to me, it put me in a meeting, but it wasn't this meeting. Attorney Harris, instead of using the 819-349, you need to use 811-9980-3046. That's how I got into the right meeting. It put me into a meeting and put me in the waiting room, and I could not speak or hear you all. Councilors, is there any discussion? If not, I need a roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Okay, roll call. Councillor Alexander.
Aye.
Councillor Crusoe.
Aye.
Councillor Marshall.
Nay.
Councillor Thigpen.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Donald.
Aye.
5 ayes, 1 nay. The motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 13, please.
A resolution authorizing payment to EFS for March 2021 invoice.
Councilors, you see this is EEFS for our engineering services here in the city of Bessemer. Are there any questions and or concerns? If not, I need a motion and a
Madam
second to
Chair,
adopt.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
Madam Chair, I move the resolution.
I need a second, please.
Second, but I have some discussion.
Yes, sir. We'll get some discussions after the second has been properly moved and second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Question, Mr. Gilbert, on when I look back and see drainage complaints 19, 20, and 21, can you explain those various different years of going from 2019, 391, 74, and 20, 128, 70. In other words, B 1373, B 1467, and B 1558.
Yes, sir, Councilor Massey. This is Daniel. Good morning.
Good morning.
The drainage complaint 2019, that's when that project was initiated. So it was kept there. And that's the 513 Flint Hill Road culvert wash where the Public Works performed that work recently, adding the riprap on each end and grouting in the riprap to prevent further erosion. The B 1467, the 2020, that was a culvert running across 15th Street there at 10th Avenue, close to the railroad track there. We got some settlement on the road and we met the Public Works crews out there to get that patched, and that was the oversight of that. And I think the last one you asked about was 2021 drainage complaints. What those were 3 locations where we had some complaints. One of them was 3031 Dublin Circle, 1105 Clarendon Avenue, and 13th Place North. And that's when we went out there and gathered information for Freddie Freeman and took some photos and did a report and provided it to Mr. Freeman.
Let's go back to that 13th place again.
13th Place North, yes, sir.
That's about between 20th and 21st Avenue. It's 20th Avenue.
I don't have that in front of me right now, but I can get it. The exact physical address of that.
Okay. And I think the last ones, what's the status you want to compile at a later date about those columns at City Hall? We hadn't heard anything.
The columns, the painting of the columns at City Hall?
Yes.
They completed that work last week. I think they got some materials on site. I think the lifts are gone, but I think they got a little bit of material they got to get out this week. But as far as the actual painting goes, they completed it last week.
Yeah, and that's concerning B 1546. I didn't make mention of that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and my last one is McCall Road. Is that dealing with the drainage there by Miss Tanya's, or that's due with property purchase?
That is dealing with the right-of-way acquisition.
Right-of-way.
Yes, sir, and submitting reimbursements back to ALDOT.
Okay, and we're looking forward to next week to talk about the flood and consolidated pipe on the next planning session. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I have one. I have 2. Item number 6, B1353. What did we do for Shining Stars Academy?
That was for some
plans review. They're going through a resurvey of that property to combine it into one lot, and that was for the review of the application from their surveyor before it went to planning and zoning for approval.
Okay. I thought that the business paid for that instead of the city. But let me ask another question. Did you all? Yes, go ahead.
The business does pay for that, but the city, when they submit it to the city, then we do the review on it to make sure it meets the requirements of the city before it goes to planning and zoning.
I got you. Carolina Avenue and Carolina Terrace, that drainage there, that ditch that goes right beside the track and across up under Carolina Avenue, and it's almost at its peak right there on Carolina Avenue and 24th Street. I think we had several complaints about that. I know Elizabeth Long and the Hattons were one. Did we ever get an opportunity to go out to look at that?
Don't recall that being filed as a issue. If there is an issue there, if you'll let us know, we'll sure take a look at it and some kind of identification of what the complaint is.
Okay, let me say that now, and then we'll get that complaint sent in to you. I did send it in. It's Carolina Avenue, Carolina Terrace, and 24th Street. I'll get that back into you. Thank you so much. Roll call.
Madam Chair. Madam
Yes,
Chair.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just trying to see what we have a building department for. Do they not review the plans?
They do review the plans for the building itself in compliance with the building codes, but the civil portion of it and the outside portion we review.
Yeah, Ron Gilbert. Outside portion of something.
So the outside portion y'all review?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Okay. And why is that? Why the building department can't review it, and why do y'all have to review the outside portion and they only review the plans?
Their expertise is in building construction and in code compliance with the building codes. And our expertise is in the civil and drainage portions, which is outside the building.
Okay. So we don't have an engineer in the building inspection department. That's what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Attorney Harris, are you on the line now? Okay, item number 4. I'm sorry. Need a roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Yes, roll call for item 13. Councillor Alexander.
Aye.
Councillor Crusoe.
Aye.
Councillor Marshall.
Aye.
Councillor Thigpen.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Donald.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The motion carries.
Madam
so
Chair,
much.
I just got I have Attorney Harris on speakerphone. He tried to come through just a minute ago. I don't know.
Well, I heard
what
him
happened.
try to come through. Yeah. That's why I asked, was he on the line now? I heard him try, and he may be still having the problem that I had. The ID did not connect us with the correct meeting.
Attorney Harris?
Can you hear me now? Can anyone hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Can anyone else hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Maybe you need to.
We can hear you, Greg.
It's fixed, whatever it was.
No, it's not fixed. No, it's not fixed. You on my phone. You're on my phone speakerphone.
Okay,
But
you're on the speakerphone.
Okay. Well, one thing I did ask, and I can ask it offline after this meeting, though, is that if Attorney Payton didn't mind provide me with with a copy of his research on that of the rec center.
Attorney
Attorney
Payton,
Payton,
did
did you hear Attorney Harris?
Sure, I'll copy Greg with whatever I find.
Did you hear that, Attorney Harris? He said he'll copy you with his findings. Thank you so much. Item number 14, please.
An ordinance declaring 1705 24th Street North surplus property.
Councilors, you've read this, and I think this letter was written to, they wanted to regain their family home.
Madam Chair.
I need a, yes, sir.
No, I have some questions. One being, does this piece of property have any attachments from the city before we decide to sell it for $4,000? And then I see an appraisal or something from the county saying it's valued at about $32,000. I'm trying to find out if any money is owed to the city. Mayor, can someone answer that for me, please?
Madam President, this is Shan.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This house, the city foreclosed on this house for the sum of $16,242.
Okay, well, let me ask this question. I mean, they're making an offer of $4,000. Why don't we ever take an opportunity to try to put property like this on the market if we're gonna let it go and see if we can get more or get closer to reaching our goal of recouping the money that we've got out? I mean, we did a house on Dartmouth Avenue valued at $72,000. We let it go for $10,000, didn't even put it on the market to see if we could recover city money. And so my concern and my question is, can we put it on the market and see if we can get more than the offer of $4,000?
Madam President.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
One moment, Councilor, Attorney Payton.
Yes, ma'am. This ordinance today is not an ordinance to sell the property today. This is an ordinance to declare it surplus. So if you consider this ordinance, this would be one of a permanent nature. So I would suggest that you do the unanimous consent and then declare it surplus and then come back at another time and sell the piece of property.
Right.
Sure,
That's
we're
what this
authorizing it to be sent. We can dispose of it right now.
Attorney Harris is asking a question, Madam Chair.
Okay, Attorney Harris, what did you say?
It's simply, we're not authorizing sale at this point, just authorizing it to just indicating that it's no longer used for any municipal purpose. Is that what we're doing at this point?
That is what the ordinance says.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, and Madam Chair, and I
Yes,
think
sir.
in times past, and this is city-owned property, right? Right.
Yes, sir.
Well, in times past, I think if my memory served me correct, Councilor Crusoe asked for a list of city-owned property. Now, to go back to what Councilor Marshall just stated, if we had the list of those properties owned by the city, we could be proactive enough to when these things arise, then we can say, oh, this is worth $40,000 and you want to give me $500 for it. But if we be proactive and have these things out front, then we, when somebody come to us and say, well, I want to give you $40,000 for it. Well, it's worth $80,000. And I'm just using those numbers now. So it would behoove us sometime to get the facts out in front of us prior to now, and then we won't be haggling around getting gypped, so to speak. If I'm not saying we are, but I'm just saying if we be proactive and because again, here we go reacting now, just like we're doing about the ambulances. But anyway, I'll talk about that later. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I want to make a statement about this.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So, I think that us moving ahead with the land bank and us really knowing what properties that the city of Bessemer owns, that way we can do things like that. What Council Marshall said. Also, it's a lot of businesses, it's a lot of families that we haven't recouped money from. I mean, we have businesses that we've given over $100,000 to, and we haven't recouped the money nor the equipment from the businesses. We have businesses right now that's in default on their loans, and we're not going out recouping that. I think that this person is trying to get their family home back. And if it was me, I would want to get my family home back as well. The property's just been sitting there. I think we should make it surplus and make it available if she does want to purchase this property. And this adding back home ownership in the city of Bessemer, because she plans on moving in that home, her mother.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would also like to thank Councilor Matthews for, alluding to, my request when we first sat down around the table shortly after election, requesting a list of all of the properties owned by the city of Bessemer, and to, I guess, touch on the situation or the comment that was made concerning Councilor Marshall. I just wish that we, would be much more, I guess, engaged when we approve these loans, or I guess more only examining the wherewithal as far as in maintaining the loans and grants that we're giving out to these citizens. I mean, this is a young lady who is not, she nor her family are responsible for the debt owed to the city. I can't say what the process has been as far as in the city providing the grant to whomever they provided it to concerning this property, what type interviewing process, or what type measures they took as far as in approving these funds. And the property that sat here on Dartmouth Avenue have sat here for years, not even knowing that it was even owned by the city of Bessemer. I have properties. Just about every other day, investors calling me, trying to buy my property from me. Investors know and see these dilapidated houses throughout the city of Bessemer. Have they had any type interest in investing in the city of Bessemer? We don't have anything available to them as far as in notifying us, or even if they are notifying us, we don't know it. So, if we have somebody who thinks enough of us, the city of Bessemer, to take their hard-earned dollars to reinvest or to come in and help to rebuild Bessemer after, somebody else's boo-boo or mishap on money that we've given them, we can't hold other people responsible for that. I think it's a good deed for an individual or a company or anyone for that matter to come forth with, like I said, with their interest in revitalizing or rebuilding or helping to maintain anything that we have here in the city of Bessemer. So I support this idea. Sometimes when one thing about it, your beginning just it justifies your end. If we don't go into things the right way, if we're not doing the necessary measures that we or taking the necessary measures that we should take when we're in, because, like, for instance, now this is something that we're having problems with around our table right now, with the council asking, what type measures are being taken after we approve for these funds, We have no type, measures. We can't say that they aren't in place because the measures are not being provided to us as to how these people are even being approved for grants, how they're being approved for loans, whether this just a homeboy, homegirl, we don't know what measures are being taken. But if somebody comes before the city wanting to like I said, take a burden off of our hands to help clean up the city of Bessemer at all costs, we should be voting unanimously.
Madam Chair,
That's one less house that a neighbor has to walk out on their front porch and look across the street. That's one less house that rodents and snakes and all of that is running from that property. That's one less house. And it seems like the very ones of us who have the most gripes are the ones who are stepping out on front porches that doesn't reflect what I just described. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Attorney Payne, is there any way that you can provide the council just with an updated list of how many loans are behind and how many are current? We don't have to do the personal information. You can tell us, we have 10 behind or 1 current, because we need to know where we stand as a city financially with the debt.
Can we place that on planning session?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Attorney Payton, and you make sure that it's turned in and we'll place it on planning session. But I do agree to go ahead and my suggestion to this body, go ahead and make this property, because I rode by the property and I did see the property. I went around the property. I would suggest that we go ahead and declare this property surplus today, and we can come back and entertain her price and or make it to where we can get her price was $400. Oh wow.
No.
It's 400. I'm sorry, $4,000. I'm looking at 4,000 here, but we can, if we will, as it is on the agenda today, to go ahead and make this property surplus, and we can discuss other measures on next week.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead. I yield.
Go ahead, Counselor.
I move the motion to declare the property at 1705 24th Street North surplus property.
Second.
Madam President.
We're moving to consider now, right?
We're moving to consider the property. Yes, ma'am.
Second.
Okay, it has been properly moved that we will consider 1705 24th Street as being surplus property for the city of Bessemer. No more discussion. Need a roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councillor Alexander.
Aye.
Councillor Crusoe.
Aye.
Councillor Marshall.
Aye.
Councillor Thickpan.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Donald.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 15, please.
That was to consider. Now we need to adopt it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt the ordinance for declaring 1705 24th Street North surplus property.
Second.
Has been properly moved. On second, that we'll consider the property at 1705.
No, not consider. I move to adopt the ordinance.
That we will adopt the ordinance making 1705 24th Street North surplus property. Need a roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councillor Alexander.
Aye.
Councillor Crusoe,
Aye.
Councillor Marshall,
Aye.
Councillor McCann,
Aye.
Councillor Matthews,
Aye.
Councillor Donald.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 15, please.
Item 15 is a resolution appropriating the municipal fund for the mill and asphalt overlay of Rodeo Court related to Fedex project. Sorry.
Councilors, I think we did discuss this sometime back, but if the mayor and or Ron Gilbert would bring us up to date.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
as you all know, as far as FedEx is concerned, and so that the road that is going into FedEx, a portion of that road is in the city of Bessemer, and the other portion of that road is in the city of Birmingham. In our initial agreement and stuff with FedEx, I think the agreement was made and so that both entities was share and stuff, split the costs and stuff in paving and stuff that road into FedEx. Ron, if you have anything that you want to specifically add to that, go ahead, please.
No, sir, not at this, unless there are any questions.
Councilors, I need a motion and a second, and then we'll entertain discussion.
Madam Chair.
Councilor?
Madam
Yes,
Chair.
sir. Yes, sir.
I move to appropriate municipal funds for the mill and asphalt overlay of Rodeo Court related to FedEx project.
At an estimated cost of $7,725.
That's correct.
Okay, I need a second, please.
Second.
Has been properly moved and second that a resolution appropriating municipal funds for the mill and asphalt overlay on the portion of Rodeo Court related to the interest of FedEx. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we voted and moved things forward as far as for the business aspect of the city of Bessemer. My question, as we sit on voting and allocating funds, how easily it is for us to find the necessary funds to be accommodating to the business aspect of Bessemer. But when we make mention of these streets that needs to be repaved or asphalt and overlay needing to be done down in the community aspect of Bessemer, the question with the answer we're always being confronted with is where we're going to get the money from. Where we're going to get the money from? I mean, so easily. I mean, just an item. I mean, we discussed it previously. But I mean, I just want us to take the necessary measures to do what we need to do to identify and utilize the necessary funds as smoothly and as easily as we do in the commercial aspect of Bessemer. We need to be just as effective and diligent in the community aspect as well. Because we've done everything, and for some of the businesses that's coming to Bessemer, and God knows, I'm grateful we welcome them to the city of Bessemer. But what about our communities? What about the streets in the communities? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. I do agree. Commercial and residential are two different things. But we must look at the citizens that's in the city of Bessemer that will be here in the city when some of these big box businesses are gone out of the city. I welcome all big box businesses, but I also know that I live in the city of Bessemer, in my neighborhood and on Fairfax Avenue. If it's no more discussion.
Madam President.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can't recall a whole lot of paving that we've done and stuff when they have come to commercial and so over the last and so for a couple of years. But as all of you and so are aware, we are and so working on the bond market and securing dollars as we speak, and so to do paving inside and so the neighborhoods and inside and so the city of Bessemer. So I don't know where that coming and so come from because the bottom line is that we are working to secure the dollars to do paving inside the city of Bessemer. Very little has been done when it has come to commercial paving as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Gurley. That is a sign of relief, not only for me and my street, but I know for a lot of citizens in the city of Bessemer. Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councillor Alexander.
Aye.
Councillor Crusoe.
Aye.
Councillor Marshall.
Aye.
Councillor Thigpen.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Donald.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The motion carries.
Thank you. Item 15A that was added to the agenda concerning the ambulances for the city of Bessemer and the services, well, just the ambulances for the city of Bessemer. Mayor Gully.
Madam President, I don't know how to tell you any more than I've already told you all relevant and so to this. As I've said, certain things are going to come up quickly and unexpectedly in government, the same way they come up in our own homes and in our own lives. I'll have Chief McFarland. I see him on the line if you want to add anything. But at this particular point, you all know where we are. We've discussed this and stuff initially. This is the situation that has come up. All I'm trying and stuff to do is ensure that the health and safety of the citizens and stuff of this city. So I don't know what else and stuff to tell you stuff relevant to the
Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Mayor Gully. Council, was that Crusoe?
Yes, ma'am. It is I.
Okay. Council Crusoe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before Mr. McFarland presents, if he's going to, hopefully so. My question is, that I thought that we were holding it off for further discussion. Once we got to the line item, what are the options that we have? As far as with the ambulance services, are they asking for more funds? What are the options here? Are we just only faced with having to buy our own vehicles and hire our own staff, or use our own staff to be able to provide the ambulance services throughout the city of Bessemer? What are the options here?
Madam President.
Yes, sir.
You all approved in the budget for the fire department to purchase 3 pumpers. Those are lease agreements, and they're leased. They will run for the next 7 to 8 years under that lease agreement. What we were requesting to you all in the resolution is to add 2 ambulances to that existing agreement, to that existing lease purchase agreement. Now, obviously, 2 ambulances wouldn't come close to running the calls for the 3,800 calls that the city of Bessemer gets each year. But however, in a emergency situation, this is the purchase 2 ambulances. So in an emergency situation, the city and stuff is not caught in a situation where they cannot provide the life-saving service that is necessary for our citizens. So these ambulances obviously would be as a as a backup to whatever and so we are doing. But what we are doing is trying to make sure that we have the transport necessary. Now, our fire department have EMTs and they have paramedics, so forth and so on. So in a emergency situation, we'll have the necessary personnel to cover that. We just need the necessary equipment, which is 2 ambulances to put as backup just in case a situation becomes dire in this city. Thank you.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair, can I?
Go ahead and finish, Councillor Crusoe.
Yes, ma'am. I'm not certain as to whether I clearly conveyed my question. I understand the dire and the urgency of this matter, and which I think that's all that I just gathered from your response. My question that I propose, and I will propose again, is what are our options? I mean, now we're hearing this could serve as a backup. A backup to what? If the 2 ambulance services are backing out, are they completely withdrawing their services to the city of Bessemer, and you're being asked to provide or to purchase two more vehicles in order to ensure the safety of our citizens? Or are we buying 2 ambulances in the event that the services that are being provided, if they can't continue to, I guess, facilitate the workload or the city? I'm trying to get some clarity on what it is that we're doing here. I know we're being threatened with possibly losing those services. Are you saying that that's where we are now, and we're taking the necessary measures, like I said, to keep our citizens in provide services to help keep our citizens safe? Maybe that hopefully that I was a little more clearer with my question. Can somebody, if somebody would, is able to answer that?
Madam President, my options is not to figure out and so what the ambulance shows or RPS may be doing from a corporate situation. Mine is to make sure that the city of Bessemer is covered regardless of what and stuff they choose and stuff to do. Councilor Crusoe, I have no idea. Shows is pulled out. I have no idea RPS or what RPS and stuff is doing or will do relevant to ambulance services. They've already said that they cannot cover calls for the entire city of Bessemer. So that is going and stuff to be an issue that we're all going to have to sit down and talk about what we're going to do going forward. When it comes to ambulance service, we've had discussion with the county. The county's in that exact same situation, and most other municipalities. But I can't state this enough that all we are trying to do is add a level of coverage for the city of Bessemer, regardless of what decision comes when it comes to the ambulance service. But Chief McFarland, are you on? Are you on the line?
Yes, sir. I'm here, Mayor Gully.
Well, I'm gonna let you speak, and so maybe and so you can convey it a little clearer than I have where we are, and relevant to where we are when it comes to the ambulance services in your department. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good morning to the council and the mayor and everyone else who's listening. If you have a few minutes, we'll take you back and to let you know the timeline on how this stuff actually came about a month ago, mid part of April. Both ambulance services that provide transport services for the city of Bessemer came to us and said that they were losing money. And plus, both of them were losing money, but one was losing money and was short-staffed because there are not enough paramedics in the system itself. So I tasked my EMS officer with, Chief Hallmark, with coming up with contingency plans to actually address this problem that we had, because initially they were going to pull out in 30 days. So then Robbie, Chief Hallmark, talked to him, and we kind of, got some stuff worked out. And they said, okay, 60 days. So that will be coming up in about 3 weeks now, if you would go back to the timeline. So we got to discussing it, and we decided to enlist the assistance of a EMS professional to come in and try to help us assess the situation for the city of Bessemer. So he came in about 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago on Tuesday, and he met with us and the ambulance services. And also, we set up meetings with them and the county and the ambulance services. So, and other cities, Hoover came in, different cities, because it's happening to other cities in the county. So when he came in, he gave us a recommendation, or he was offering recommendations about how to address this situation. The city of Bessemer, which is what we were concerned about, is not a big enough market for the ambulance services in their current state to compete in the marketplace, to compete for the marketplace. We just do not have the volume for these companies, because they're not making the money because of the payer mix, and they're not making the money because of the amount of transports that they do. But when the county came in, the county is wide enough for them to actually compete in that. But that does not mean that Bessemer would be included in all of that, and we would get the proper service that we would. So myself and Chief Hallmark went back, and we started putting things together, and so we can to help the city of Bessemer. This is what we were actually concerned with, because whatever the county does, we still need to actually be able to take care of Bessemer. And that's where we came up with this plan to present to the mayor after the EMS consultant got his numbers and all his information and data and fed it back to us. As soon as he fed it back to us last week, me and Chief Hallmark got together and presented that information to the mayor. Now, the issue with the ambulance service, the ambulances themselves, is this. There were 6 ambulances, Type 1 ambulances, that were available in the United States at that time. And just because of the relationship we have with one of the vendors, we jumped on that, or they presented that to us, and we put a plan together, and we presented it to the mayor. There were only 6 because there's a chip problem with the trucks, and that nobody was building trucks. And these 2 ambulances that we were trying to purchase were already purchased by another company that actually went out of business before they came off the assembly line, and we just happened to be right there. So the deal is, if the ambulance services leave the city right now, and we are having situations now, Chief Hallmark has the records of it, where in certain instances that dispatch has come back since all of this happened and said there are no ambulances available. In cities like Lipscomb, Brighton, Fairfield, they're having to put people in cars to take them to the hospitals. We can't do that, because we can't have that liability to tell anybody to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to put our licensure. We're not going to put our certifications on the line by doing something we know is unethical and is actually illegal. So, but that's how desperate other people are. So we found this opportunity to make sure that we could take care of the citizens of Bessemer first. Now, there really was no other option because of the tedious position of these ambulance companies. If they leave right now, we have no way to transport people, our citizens here, to the hospital. We have no way to do that. This is a backup because they're still here. They're waiting on the county to see if they want to do an RFP to try to cover the county. But still, even if they did that, the city of Bessemer still needs a way to actually back that up, because we would still be cut out with these companies because they are short-staffed. They don't have the medics in the system to actually staff up to be able to cover. Not even Bessemer. Neither one of those companies, they both admitted we cannot take this on individually by ourselves, no matter what the money was or whatever, the situation was with them. Neither one of them could take on the city of Bessemer by themselves. So we had to have both of them, and we're still being not getting ambulances sometimes. They're just not available. So all it would take is for the right person to be on the interstate of a bad wreck, or we running a code somewhere and we do not have the apparatus available to get these people to the hospital.
Thank you,
Madam Chair.
Did that answer your question?
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Chief McFarland. I mean, because you broke it down and answered all of my questions. It's not whereby any of us were denying the need, nor being in a position of your lack of willingness to support responding to the call. We just weren't not being provided the information that you just presented. And thank you. I mean, we wouldn't dare sit around knowing the issues that we've already faced as a city with crime and with shootings, and not only to even include the natural course that life takes, to not be proactive at a time such as this, to do what is necessary to provide the necessary services to our citizens that their tax dollars should be affording them. It's our due diligence. So again, thank you for the clarity, and I'm prepared to move forward in doing what we need to do to make the necessary purchases to provide these services to our citizens. I mean, hopefully that none of them you would have to use them, but it is our responsibility to make sure that they are provided those services. Thank you again, Chief McFarland, and again, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. That answers your question. Who am I speaking with?
This is Councillor Marshall.
Okay, Councillor Marshall, go ahead.
Is it appropriate to move the resolution?
Yes, sir, Councillor Marshall, you can move the resolution, and if we get a second, we'll move on. Yes, sir.
Okay, I so move.
I need a second.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that we will purchase 2 ambulances for the city of Bessemer. Mayor Gully, at what cost?
Discussion.
One moment. At what cost, Mayor Gully and/or Chief
It's going to be part of my discussion.
Okay. Discussion.
Thank you,
Go
Madam
ahead,
Chair.
Councilman.
Okay, and I haven't. Well, I guess I want to know what kind of emergency purchase had the facts from the attorneys. Had the facts been laid out enough for an emergency purchase, or just some type of bid, or just I guess they said they got in touch with the company concerning this. Now, must say, a lot of people talk prior to, so I'm in the discussion mode now. Now, I first heard about these ambulance ambulances problems here 4 or 5 months ago. And that's why I said sometimes it takes some proactivism. It may just got to the point where Chief McFarland made mention of last week in their discussion or 2 weeks ago. But this ambulance issue has been dwindling down for several months. Now, I just want to know what line item is this going to come out of? Is it coming out where the fire vehicles?
One moment, Counselor. Please
I think
mute
that was Attorney Harris was doing something. I don't know. Okay, now
go ahead.
what I was asking, has it been laid out? How is this purchase going to be done? Emergency or a line item? Which one is it?
Madam President, I can take that as Councilor Matthews, but you all may want to hear from the chief. But as I mentioned, the way that it would be paid for is adding on to the existing lease that you already have. So you have a lease agreement that you all as a council voted to purchase 3 fire pumpers in the budget, and that's coming off of a lease of the last 2 pumpers and so that we had purchased. So the lease agreement was already in existence when you all voted to add 3 pumpers. These 2 ambulances will be added to that same lease purchase that we already have in existence. They are purchased at a cost of $240,000 and of each. Now, I'll be quiet and I'll let Chief McFarland and stuff speak because sound like, and some of individuals just want to hear information from him rather than me. So if that's the case,
he was the last one spoke. So I'm just trying to get some figures. I'm just trying to get some figures.
Councilor Matthews, I wasn't. I apologize if you think that was directed at you, but until some things were clarified completely, but they can't be clarified by me. So if it takes in some of my department heads and stuff to tell you what you want to hear, relevant and stuff to the mayor, then I'm okay and stuff with that as long as we get what's necessary and stuff done. That's where we are. They're added to the existing and stuff lease that we already have and stuff in place. The ambulances is $240,000 and stuff each.
I don't need to hear from you, Chief. 240 times 2. That's what I need.
Thank you. Well, one moment, please. That's what I was asking, at what price, because we had not been given a price as to how much the ambulances would be for the city.
It was in the resolution. Madam President, it was in the resolution, and so that I asked and so to put and so on the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor Gully.
Madam Chair.
The council does not have that resolution in front of them. That is why I asked, and I think Councilor Matthews asked for the cost, because they do not have that resolution in front of them. Councilor Alexander.
Thank you. I don't.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. When was the last time that we actually had our own ambulance service? I remember we used to run an ambulance service through the fire department. What happened?
Okay.
No, ma'am. That's incorrect. The city of Bessemer has never ran its own ambulance service.
So we never did. Did we have ambulance through the city of Bessemer?
No, ma'am. Not to my knowledge, the city of Bessemer has never ran transport. Chief, you may want to speak to that as well.
I can speak to that, Mayor Gully. Councilor Alexander with working with what we had in the city of Bessemer at that time was Hank's ambulance.
Right.
We used to hang out at the fire department
Okay.
just in case a call went out. No, the city of Bessemer has never had their own, but we just used to hang out there, if that would answer your question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Crusoe. Did you have a question?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, I mean, I just wanted to just make this brief statement and I'll be done with it. You know, my response to what was just, I guess, I mean, kind of alluded to me. I don't have a problem with anything being conveyed through you as the mayor of the city. It was more so, I mean, it was clearer to me as it was presented by Chief McFarland. So it's nothing personal concerning. I just needed information and some clarity to make an informed decision as a city councilor here in the city of Bessemer. That's all. And I'm done. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thanks again.
Thank you. Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Hey, Madam President, Mr. Stan, just for the,
yes, sir.
It's okay. I would, since the councilors don't have that resolution in front of them, I'd like to read that, maybe not the whole resolution into the record, but what exactly you're doing. It's a tax exempt lease purchase, and go over the particulars of it, set it out so that when you vote on it, it'll be in the record. Or I can read the resolution into the record if you would prefer.
I'd rather you read the resolution into record.
All right. So this is a resolution authorizing the purchase of 3 Pierce Enforcer pumper trucks and 2 2021 Demers MXP-150 stock ambulance units for use by Bessemer Fire Department. Whereas in accordance with the Code of Alabama 1975, Section 41-16-51A16 and Section 16-13B-2A, the State of Alabama Department of Examiners of Public Affairs, hereinafter the state, reviewed the competitive bidding process used by the Houston-Galveston Area Council.
You hear this, Greg? I was trying to get Attorney Harris to go ahead. Go ahead.
Hereinafter referred to as HGAC, H-GAC, a national governmental purchasing cooperative, and approved the use of HGAC for purchases through December 31st, 2021. And whereas prior to utilizing HGAC, the city must ensure compliance with the Alabama competitive bid law and verify that the goods are not at the time available at a price equal to or less than that on the state purchasing program, and that the purchase is made through a participating Alabama vendor holding an Alabama business license if such a vendor exists. And whereas the city of Bessemer, Alabama desires to purchase from Emergency Equipment Professionals, EEP, 3 Pierce Enforcer pumper trucks and 2 2021 Demers MXP 150 stock ambulance units equipment for use by the Bessemer Fire Department. And whereas EEP submitted to the city a tax-exempt lease purchase proposal attached hereto as Exhibit A for the purchase of the equipment in the total amount of $2,095,782,021 paid in 7 equal annual payments of $289,426.60 and $240,000 paid at contract signing. Whereas the City Council of the City of Bessemer, having reviewed the proposal, finds that the city's public interest and welfare will be served by appropriating municipal funds in the amount of $2,095,782.21 and authorize the mayor of the city to execute the proposal from EEP. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Bessemer as follows: that the above referenced goods are not available on the state purchasing program at a price equal to or less than the prices listed on the proposal attached hereto as Exhibit A. That the City Council of the city finds that the city's public interest and welfare will be served by appropriating municipal funds in the amount of $2,095,782.21 for the purchase of the equipment for use by the Bessemer Fire Department. That pursuant to the Code of Alabama 1975, Section 41-16-51, subparagraph A, subparagraph 16, and Section 16-13B-2, subparagraph A, the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute the proposal in substantial form as attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A between the city of Bessemer and EEP for the purchase of the 3 Pierce Enforcer pumper truck and 2 2021 Demere's MXP 150 stock ambulances for use by the Bessemer Fire Department. Exhibit A that is attached, which is the terms of the tax exempt lease purchase, are as follows: a down payment of $240,000, 7 annual payments of $289,426.60. The interest rate is 2.22%. And as I understand it, the first payment will not be after the 240 is paid. The 289,426.60 will not be due until 1 year, when about the time that the 3 pumper trucks come in. That's my understanding. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, councilors. I think that's what we were trying to get at, the payment and the breakdown of the payment, since we didn't have that resolution at hand. Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councillor Alexander,
Aye.
Councillor Crusoe,
Aye.
Councillor Marshall,
Aye.
Councillor Thigpen, Councillor Thigpen. Oh, I think she's gone. Councillor
Okay.
Matthews. Councillor Matthews. Councillor Donald.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays. The motion carries.
Thank you so much. Item number 16, please.
Council members' comments, statements, or motions.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
we have a couple of citizens in the chamber.
Attorney Harris and or Payton. Citizens' comments are not on the agenda simply because we have not opened back up due to the pandemic and the emergency stay. We have not opened back up for citizens' participation. Attorney Harris, are you on the line?
Madam Chair, and when
Yes,
Attorney Payton was talking, I was trying, and that's when I said I looked like I had lost him. And
okay,
are you there, Attorney Harris? Attorney Harris? No, it just you heard that it just died. So.
I did.
So
I did. Attorney Payton, let me refer to you. The council there's no citizens' comments on the agenda, simply because we have not opened back up for regular council meetings due to the pandemic and the emergency state. Am I within our rights?
All right, so the question is, city council meetings are open to the public, and they are certainly the individuals are allowed to go into the council chambers as long as they practice safe distancing and are wearing a mask today. As to whether they're allowed to speak today, that is up to the council to determine whether they would be allowed.
Councilors.
Madam Chair.
You missed
Yes,
item 16, Madam Chair.
One moment.
And we did 15A, and it's supposed to be 16. I was thinking.
Well,
that would be correct. Item 16 would come first.
We were already
Okay.
into item 16 when Councilor Marshall opened up.
Okay.
And Ms. Taylor read it. Councilor Marshall asked to speak, and I allow him to speak. I referred to the attorney, and I also stated this, since we are not, and I do not have it on the agenda, I would ask that this body would now not allow it, since it's not on the agenda today. If there's a problem and or a complaint, we will ask that citizen to write it down and or letter, or call your counselor or the mayor, either of the three. So it's not on the agenda today, and I'm not placing it on the agenda on today. Council member.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
think
sir.
I think this body determines that. And
Okay.
why is there an issue with citizens who are meeting all of the health guidelines? Why is it a problem to allow citizens to speak to this council? This council ain't gonna hide from the citizens for the next 2 years. The day is coming, and this is an open meeting. And I just don't understand what the apprehension this council has to allow citizens to speak. We talked at one time about citizens being able to make comments on Facebook while we were in a meeting. So I just don't understand it. Thank you.
I have no problem, and you're right. This is this body. And if you can go back to what I said, counselor, it is this body that can determine whether or not whomever is in the council chambers. Counselors, I need to hear from you.
Madam Chair, let me go
Yes, sir.
cut through that. I don't. It doesn't bother me about a council member coming to the mic. They've been coming ever since I've been on the council. I don't mind, but I was just trying to get council members' comments, statements, and motions out of the way, and then we can move on to something, whatever we want to. You know, it's fine with me. I don't. It doesn't bother me. So I made my statement, and I'm still waiting on council member comments, statements, and motion.
Item number 16, Ms. Taylor.
Council members' comments, statements, or motions.
Madam Chair.
District. Yes, sir.
Oh, you're gonna go by district. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I was going by district as I usually do. District 2. District 2.
I'll forward to Terrain this week.
District 4. Are you still there? District 5.
I'll continue to send to Terrain. I have a question for the mayor, though. Is the Civic Center up and operating? Today is June 1. Mr. Mayor.
To my knowledge right now, Mr. Ron, I'd have to check. It is not.
Is there a reason it's not?
Ron, we had some issues. Councilman Marsh, I'm sorry. We had some issues, as you all are aware, relevant to the Civic Center being closed for the past over a year, as well as refunds that had been given back and stuff to to citizens or people who had rented the Civic Center. Obviously, there was no operating dollars in the Civic Center account. We attempted and stuff to get operating dollars in the city account through a transfer of funds. We were unable to get council to sign for the transfer. We went back, so we went back and we did a transfer of funds from municipal court based and stuff on funding the rental of the Civic Center over the last 6 months. Presented that information to Councilor Alexander at that time, and along with the resolution, and she did sign that. So about approximately $100,000 went into that account from municipal court, account, but it was not in enough time and stuff to open up the facility on June 1. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Are you finished, Councilor Marshall?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Councilor Alexander, would you like to explain why is it you did not sign that first check?
Yes, ma'am. The reason why I didn't sign the first check, I didn't have documentation of where the money was coming from and what it was for. The second check that came to me to sign, it came from municipal court, which they, had to pay us for renting the civic center. And that's why I signed off. The first check came with no explanation. It just said $100,000 to the Bessemer Civic Center.
Thank you so much. District number 6, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I requested a topic of interest that I had concerning Tom Harmon. He gave us an overview of the procedures by which the city do demolition. Now, I received a presentation, like a demolition program, but it wasn't anything like what Tom Harmon made in his presentation. And I'm talking about the steps that the persons will, the different entities will take before the houses are demolished. Now, it just tells the program overview, what is blight and the cost of the blight and the housing, the pictures of the houses, but it don't give the step-by-step procedures which the city go through prior to the houses being demolished. That's what I wanted, but I didn't receive that from Mr. Norris. I received a presentation on something far different than what Mr. Tom Harmon spoke on. So I like that. That's all I need. Do you hear that, Mr. Norris, Mayor?
Thank you, Councilor Matthews.
Yes, Councilor Matthews, I did.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Madam President. Madam President.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I had to leave. And I'm back.
Okay. Number 4. Okay.
I will continue to send my information to the mayor's office, and I want to let everybody know that I am a grandmother. We had
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It was not what we expected. She was 35 weeks Saturday, but she was born Friday, and Allison had preeclampsia, so the blood pressure issue so she's 5 weeks early, and she's a tiny little thing weighing 4 pounds 8 ounces. It's not what you expect. I was expecting a 9-pound baby, so
that's okay.
You're in the club.
I'm in the club. Unfortunately, she's in NICU, and I won't get to see her until she comes home. So, but I got to spend time at the hospital with Allison and watching her and talking to her and helping her get over the blood pressure issues. And she's coming home today. It's going to be hard leaving that baby in the hospital. But
you got a lifetime loving her.
I do. Yeah, I'm just pretending she's not born yet. She's not due yet. I'm just pretending she's not born. So I will see her when I see her. So y'all just continue to pray for me.
Right. You're gonna love every minute of it.
I know. I'm just so excited. I can't wait.
You're gonna love
just
every
had to
minute
let y'all know. Just had to let y'all know, even though Jesse may have had a hint at it.
Thank you so much, and we wish Allison well and the new baby.
Thank you.
District number 7.
Madam President.
Yes, sir.
if you give me a point of privilege, I like to go back and so, well, first, congratulations, Donna, on your new grandbaby as well.
Thank you.
But Councilor Matthews, I needed a little bit more clarity on what he was requesting, because I do have Mr. Norris and stuff here as well, and he showed me all that had been sent and stuff to you, based on the process that we've always done when it comes to demolition. So I really would like a little bit more clarification from you as to what else do you really want relevant to that.
Okay, thank you. When Harmon was talking, he was saying that the asbestos, the sewer cap, water, septic tank, he named several things during his presentation. But what I received, it has, I guess, look like sunshine, look like it's quite some streaks in it, and I can't. It talk about the values of the houses, the health issue, the blightness, the program overview, but it doesn't list out those procedures by which the building department has to make sure that's done prior to demolition. And I don't see it in what I have.
Okay, I'll get with Mr. Harmon, and so we'll see if we can get you some additional information. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. District number 7.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, congratulations to you, Councilor Pigpen. I would like to, first of all, extend my apologies to the citizens of Bessemer for not having my camera on today, as I recover from second and third degree burns that I sustained. It's the only reason that my camera is off today. Also, my condolences to our sister city of Brighton and to the Bean family. Also to the Strait family, for Miss Catherine Strait, you truly should be missed. A jewel in the church and in the community. As for District 7 and the citizens of Bessemer, family and friends, near and far, thanks for all of the outpour of love and support. I can see and feel your prayers. For the word states, for the prayers of a righteous man, for the prayers of the righteous availeth much. And God is really working a miracle. As for District 7, I will forward all your calls, concerns, or other issues to the mayor's office. And thank you all for everything that you have done. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Crusoe. Sentiments as well to both families, the Bean and the Strait families. We had an opportunity to interact with both families. District 3, we will continue to forward everything to the mayor's office, but I must continue to say about that traffic light there on Dartmouth Avenue and 22nd Street. Desperately needed, and I think I have requested for a traffic study there so that we can get some information on that interchange right there. Thank you all, councilors. We have 2 citizens in the council chambers, one after the other. May come to the mic if it's all right with this body. If it's all right with this. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. For the record, because the minutes are organized and written according to the agendas on the items on the agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
If you could, for the record, add citizens' participation to the agenda as an item so that the minutes could be done properly.
Yes, ma'am, I sure can. Councilors, there are 2 citizens that's in the chambers. I would think that they are CDC appropriate. I need a motion and a second to allow them to speak when
Madam
they're
Chair.
not on the agenda. Yes, sir.
I move the motion that they be allowed to speak.
Second.
It has been motioned and properly second that the citizens may have 3 minutes, give their name and address, and roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councillor Alexander. Councillor Alexander. Councillor Crusoe.
Aye.
Councillor Marshall.
Aye.
Councillor Thigpen.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Yes.
And Councillor Donald.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
The first of the two may approach the microphone, please. Your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Oh, thank you so much, Madam President. My name is Chester Porter, 2401 12th Avenue North here in the marvelous city of Bessemer. Let me first give a shout out to the mayor and to those council members who are doing a great job being proactive to address the needs and concerns of the community. A couple of things that I do want to share with you is that in reference to the ambulance service, some things should just be a no-brainer. You shouldn't have to go back and forth on the quality of life. It was stated by Ms. Crusoe that, 3 years ago, she was sworn in to serve and, took an oath of allegiance to serve the community. But, sometimes your actions are totally different. Everything that the mayor stated, Sergeant McFarland said the same thing. So I think that we get so bombarded down with trying to make someone look irresponsible or make someone look bad that you just don't come off as a good person. Street repavings here in the marvelous city of Bessemer has been going on for the past 8 years. That's a no-brainer. The citizens see that. Now, I'm really concerned at why the council body as a whole is not meeting. You're putting too much emphasis on going on Facebook Live and trying to go streaming that you're missing the big point. The city of Hoover is meeting. They stopped meeting for about a month. They've been meeting for the past year. The city of Brighton, they're meeting in person. The city of Pleasant Grove, they're meeting. They never did shut down. But the city of Bessemer, you guys are not meeting. You guys are not really looking out for the citizen. But Cynthia Donald, I'm really shocked and amazed that the way what you did 2 weeks ago when we were here and you got up and ran out and went to your office, but yet and still, you could go to Huntsville and around other people that you don't know if they've been vaccinated or what, but you cannot have a meeting here at City Hall. Councilman Matthews stated that he commend the steps that the Civic Center has taken to practice social distancing. And Councilman Marshall said, let's move it to the Civic Center so that the citizens can come and participate. But then Council Matthews turned around and voted no. We don't need to meet yet. It's like you guys are talking out of both sides of your neck. So it's okay for us to travel on city funds, but we don't want to have a meeting here in the council chamber office where our citizens can come and participate. You guys need to really check yourselves because you really sound stupid.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Kathy Hammond, 315 Fairfax Avenue, Bessemer, Alabama. I just wanted to second that information about opening up the chamber meeting. The city council meeting should be open. It's open because of the Open Meeting Act, number one. Number two, zoning and planning uses the same office and they were packed. They haven't stopped meeting. They're back in full session. They're part of city government. Beautification board's meeting in person again. Why can't we open up? Why can't we serve our citizens in person once and for all? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hammond. And I did expect the two that got up, and I expected that that was the two that got up. But the reason I had legal to address that was because we can, and if I'm wrong, Attorney Payne, please let me know. We can do Zoom until we hear from the governor of the of the city of the state of Alabama. We can do Zoom. And I'll say this and I'll be finished with it. When I went to my office for my safety. When I went to Huntsville, they had everything there, CDC compliant. Everything was CDC compliant, including you getting out of the car and checking in. You have a place to stand until the next person finished. As far as it being on city funds, we go to conferences, as ex-Councillor Porter knows. We go to conferences to better ourselves for the city of Bessemer. Now, citizens in the city of Bessemer, those of you who have approached me about Facebook Live and or YouTube, thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Wait a minute. Thank you for stating that you see what's going on with this. Thank you for stating that we know who's truly concerned about us. Thank you for stating that when we call, it's only arrogance, and I'm not going to call them anymore. Thank you. You're welcome to call me at any time. Anytime. And I guarantee you, whether I go to Huntsville, Montgomery, any place, I will answer you. Which counselor was that?
Madam Councilor Crusoe.
Go ahead, Councilor Crusoe.
I just wanted to make a statement since my name was called in those comments, in the comment. And I'm not gonna. It's no problem. I'm not gonna channel too much of my energy into that, simply because I'm not going to. You know, one or two versus the other thousands who applaud and appreciate my deeds and what they see, not what they heard, what they see me do here in the city of Bessemer. I choose to channel my energy in that direction. Again, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you all for your time. Thank you all, counselors, for your day, spending a portion of your day with the citizens of Bessemer. I need a motion, a second, and a roll call.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councillor Alexander.
Aye.
Councillor Crusoe.
Aye.
Councillor Marshall. Councillor Marshall.
He's no longer there. He's with the other two. He's no longer there.
Okay. Councillor Thickpen.
Aye.
Councillor Matthews.
Aye.
Councillor Donald.
Aye. You all have a great weekend now. Bye-bye.
Aye.